and I'm Malfoy. Draco Malfoy.
We all despised Draco at times, but we could have liked him in the end. Fortunately, Tom Felton was nothing like his on-screen brat. Here's a look at all things Tom having a laugh and cry in Harry Potter, from magical friendships to heart-wrenching moments we know and didn't get to see. Number 1. A young Tom was one of more than thousands in line trying to be a part of the Harry Potter universe, all of which knew the books of Harry Potter, except for him.
As you can see, I'm shipshape with my Potter knowledge.
The audition process for Harry Potter took ages to find the right kids for the roles. And when it came time for Tom to tell filmmakers which scene he wanted to see come to life on screen, well, he may have cheated a little.
The guy next to me said something about Gringotts and goblins, so I was just like, yeah.
Maybe because he knew nothing, he stood out and got the part. Or maybe that was just in character for a Malfoy to hate reading about.
Potter.
Tom even went out for the roles of Harry and Ron. But we're glad they came to their senses and cast the perfect spell to get the right Draco. Number 2. There's nothing more magical than having good friends at work. Especially if you're able to abruptly switch to hating them on screen.
Dare you talk to me? Filthy little mudblood.
The two pals were inseparable on set. They teased and goofed their way through 8 long films. And with all the pressures of being in a blockbuster franchise, they may have gotten under each other's skin too.
Whoops. You call me a wuss?
Probably not a great idea to fight in midair though. But friendships like this last forever. And it seems like neither broke the unbreakable bro vow. They still talk from time to time.
I'm sure we'll catch up over a pint tonight at some point.
Number 3. You Potter fans have watched all the deleted scenes from the films. But there's one in particular with his father, Lucius, played by Jason Isaacs, that just makes us feel so much pain for Felton.
Working with Jason was a real treat.
In this scene, when Draco accompanies his loving father on a couple of errands, he's met with a sharp cane to the hand. Jason felt so bad for what he did to him, but Tom took it like a true champion of Slytherin.
He went, no, it's all right, it's good for the scene.
This sadly wasn't the end of on-set injuries for Felton. Could this have been the hidden message he failed to see in his teacup? Number 4. Well, here we go again. Poor Tom. Though, this time, he actually asked for it.
Go on, slap me right now. Let's just do this, do the motions.
It was scripted that Emma Watson's Hermione Granger would slap Draco in the scene. But Felton wanted to make the hit as real as possible. We're not saying Emma had something in it for him, but come on, he literally asked for it. Her character certainly felt good, but deep down, her love for Tom made her feel horrible.
I feel terrible. I feel really bad.
Number 5. What if Tom Felton made a love potion for Emma Watson?
The most powerful love potion in the world.
Just a joke, but Emma did reveal she had a thing for Tom on set. Her first day on set sparked a big crush for the Draco actor, but they remained great friends throughout the process and beyond.
We've been very good friends for a very long time. Leave it at that.
He may not have had anything other than platonic feelings for her, but can't you help but notice the way he looks at her?
Oh, look at that, look at that. Lucky man, lucky man.
Number 6. Let's jump into that scene from Goblet of Fire. You know the one.
Oh no, you don't, Sonny!
Let's be real, we all loved this moment. Oh, and just in case anyone's asking, he was not actually turned into a ferret. Hope we alleviated some fears there. Number 7. Behind the scenes of the Harry Potter films, Tom was known as the jokester, and just the guy who always wanted to have fun on set.
Yeah, man, I've been doing my sticks, I've been working my feet, you see my feet work.
His on-set shenanigans never got him into too much trouble, and he definitely took his leisure time very seriously. Tom was never a stranger to cracking a joke behind the scenes, but once the director yelled action, he was all in.
Just give us a thumbs up when it's a good one, all right, man.
Number 8. Felton worked with some of the greatest silver screen legends of all time, from Gary Oldman to the eccentric Helena Bonham Carter. But half the time, he didn't even know who they were.
I thought Gary Oldman was one of the cleaners.
Funny enough, he felt very intimidated by Alan Rickman. Alan might have been so good at his acting that Tom just couldn't see through Snape's cold personality.
I'll escort him out.
He enjoyed working with all the star-studded veterans, but he has a keen liking to Helena Bonham Carter. She seems like a lot of fun behind the scenes, and even though her character is the epitome of evil, Bellatrix Lestrange is definitely the most entertaining. Number 9. There was a big change that occurred in Draco midway through the films. If you read the books, you saw it coming, but some of us were very surprised.
He took a leap. He really did.
We got to see more of Draco throughout the second half of the films, which allowed them to show sympathy for the character. This change was a little daunting for Tom, as it meant that he would have to go from that two-dimensional bratty kid to the evil chosen one set to carry out the Dark Lord's demands.
There's quite a lot to sympathize with him in the respect that he doesn't have a choice.
Number 10. We need to talk about that moment. You know that moment you realize Draco breaks and almost falls to Harry's wand?
I know what you did, Malfoy. You hexed her, didn't you?
At this point in the franchise, we never saw the full potential of Tom's acting, but he shined in the scene and worked with multiple stunts and even survived shattered mirrors.
Certainly gives you a lot more things to play with, really.
Number 11. It was now time for Tom to do the unthinkable. To do he who must not be named's bidding.
Oh my god, this is pretty intense stuff.
We wonder what it's like going from that boy with the backhanded quips at Potter to the all-grown-up teen choosing a side. It's unlike Tom to do something so sinister, but his commitment to the role always surpassed that.
Don't you understand? I have to do this.
He felt pretty pressured to do the scene. Having a moment in front of a few legendary actors and actresses can prove to be very daunting. But no one disagreed. Felton can act.
Well done, Draco.
Number 12. Felton was finally able to get in on the action, and he was all in for it.
It's the first bit of actual action work I think we've done in years.
And when we say he was all in for it, he was determined to do it himself. Of course, it took him a few takes to finally sell the stunt, but all that matters is that it looked wicked cool in the end.
Smiling now, only because my feet are on the floor, yeah.
Number 13. Let's jump into another That Moment segment. We're talking about that awkward hug from the Dark Lord.
I can barely stand within 5 meters of him, let alone him touch me.
We were all probably thinking to ourselves, was that really necessary? Well, it actually wasn't even scripted. Fiennes was given the opportunity to play some of his own choices in the scene, and we guess Voldy just really wanted a hug.
I can touch you.
That awkward moment sent shockwaves on set, and who's to say that didn't influence some of the reactions we saw in the final product? Number 14. Still watched all the deleted scenes? Then you definitely know that Draco's ending would have been drastically different in the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Really?
Yes, really. Draco was supposed to save the day and throw Harry a wand and join his classmates in the fight against evil. We were going to actually see a brave moment from a Malfoy. It's fine. It's fine.
No one asked your opinion, you filthy little mudblood.
Number 15. We all had tears in our eyes watching the touching moments with all the cast during the Harry Potter reunion. Felton grew up too fast for us.
Quickly makes you feel slightly older.
Tom was given the chance to delve into his character's greatest moments and talk about all the fun anti-Draco things he did on set.
Amazing, that's clearly what Draco does in his spare time.
Number 16. Tom was pretty hush-hush about being a goof on set. But once it came time to hang up the uniform, there's no restrictions on what he could do next.
There's an air of mystery about him. We don't really know what's going to happen next.
Now that he's free of his contractual obligations, you know he tried to put Daniel Radcliffe in the trunk of a car? Fortunately, he never pulled off the prank, but we're sure Dan would have been all for it. Wouldn't you have loved to see the security's face when they lifted the boot up and saw Daniel lying in the back, hands tied up? What a great guy that Tom is. Who knew he was such a nice guy? Maybe he's just doing his job. Then he's a really good actor too. Did you think Draco was cheated from redemption in the end? Let us know in the comments.